Reindeer Academy 106, The Outcast. Interior classroom. Haruto, Maki, Yuuto, Himari, Ijime, and Ichika are in their desks in class. Zensha Vixen is teaching them health class.
And finally, the most important thing to remember, in the event of a crash in cold climates, is huddle together and drink your hot chocolate.
I'll bring the marshmallows!
Very funny, Ichika. But remember, as we covered last week, marshmallows sap warmth and are thus not advised in survival situation.
Zensha Vixen turns back to the blackboard.
Sounds like she's the marshmallow.
Shh.
Haruto raises his hoof.
Zensha Vixen? Could I just heat up some protein milk? Would that work? I gotta stay on my program.
Great question, Haruto. But remember, our hot chocolate is specially formulated by the elves to keep its heat for much longer than conventional protein milk.
Oh, right.
The bell rings. The students start to leave.
All right, class, great work today. Read Chapter 6, Heat and Sand, for next week.
Whoa! Sand?
Never seen sand before. Ijime walks past and intentionally bumps Himari's books to the floor.
My father, Sensei Donner, flew with Santa over the pyramids. Heat's no problem. He gave me a bag of sand even.
Himari picking up her books. Shut up, you jerk! Zoom in on Yuuto. The background fades out. We hear his thoughts.
A bag of sand? Oh, the things I could do with that sand!
Back to reality. Maki is pulling on his scarf.
Come on, we gotta meet up by the pole.
Exterior, North Pole. Maki, Haruto, Himari, and Yuuto are by the North Pole.
Okay, do we have everything we...
Skizz-Jo, the headmaster of the school, a dark and shadowy elf with a scar on his face, walks past and appraises the students carefully.
Shouldn't you kids be at your clubs?
Yes, sir. Our club is meeting here today. We're learning about cold.
The others catch on and nod fervently.
Well, you know what'll warm your hooves right up.
Sand?
No! A nice piping hot cup of cocoa.
All the students nod. They're scared of this man.
But no marshmallows, right, Mr. Skizz-Jo?
Skizz-Jo leans in uncomfortably close.
That's right.
He holds for a moment, then walks away. All the kids release their held breath.
Man, that Skizz-Jo really freaks me out.
Don't say that about our headmaster.
But you've got to admit there's something off about that guy.
Yeah, when he talks about hot cocoa, he gets this weird look in his eye, you know?
Maybe he's addicted?
What?
Yeah, it happens. I heard of a Zensha dancer that got so hooked on the stuff he went crazy.
Hot chocolate can't make you crazy, Yuuto.
It's what I heard!
Well, maybe, but none of that matters now. If we're going to prove that Santa's not hiding something, we've got to stick to the plan.
Okay, so right. We meet at the north gate after sunset and head north, right?
That weird kid said that the missing student lives dead south. Left south. You follow Polaris.
What's that again?
The North Star, Haruto, remember? We learned that in Fawn School.
Oh, right. Just say North Star and I'll know what you mean. Who says Polaris?
Anyways, we follow the North Star until the ice cave and turn west.
I got something I gotta do first, but I'll meet you there.
Yuuto runs off. Where do you think he's going?
I don't know. Just make sure you're ready for tonight. Bring lots of hot chocolate.
Right.
Interior Himari's house. Himari is floating above the ground next to the dinner table. Her parents are eating porridge.
So anyway, yeah, the foreman said that these new treadmills will be able to power twice as many conveyor belts, and it will really up productivity.
Oh, that's great, dear. You're really going to move up now.
The foreman says that this will open a load of new promotions, and this will really take the stress off my leg.
Oh,
so here's hoping.
Sweetheart, that's really fantastic. Honey, isn't that great?
Himari's been shoveling down her porridge quickly.
Sweetie, why are you eating so fast? Aren't you proud of your father's achievements?
Of course. That's great, Dad. May I be excused? I have a tummy ache.
Honey, your tummy hurts because you ate so quickly.
You're right. I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry, Sweet Pea. Just don't overexert yourself. You work so hard. You know that you make your father and I so proud. It's true. Oh, that's not me.
It's true, sweetie. You were dealt a harder hoof than most, and we're so proud of you for overcoming it. We love you, kiddo.
Himari's mom nods. I love you too. The parents smile.
All right, go.
Himari leaves from the table. Interior, Himari's room. Himari floats quickly into her room. She has a poster of the current Vixen, a badass medic woman reindeer in uniform, on her wall. Himari goes to the window and opens it. She looks back, down toward her parents. Then she floats out the window, closing it from outside. Exterior, North Pole, north of the North Gate. Himari, Maki, Haruto, Yuuto are making their way through the cold. Boy, it sure is cold outside the compound.
Everyone remember to step inside each other's hoof prints. That way it's easier to walk.
Yeah. And did everyone bring their hot cocoa?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got something better than that. I've got sand!
He holds up a burlap sack filled near to bursting with something.
Yuuto! What is that?
Sand!
Sand? Where did you get sand?
I stole it from Ijime's room.
You what?
Yeah, she was bragging about having all this sand from her dad or whatever, so I snuck in and stole it. What's better than a bag of sand, am I right?
Better for what?
Everything! There's nothing you can't do with a good bag of sand.
Yeah, well, I hate to burst your bubble there, Yuuto, but your bag is leaking.
What?
He holds up the bag in front of his eyes, holding it up pinched between his two front hooves. A small hole in the corner of the bag is letting the sand flow out slowly but surely.
Oh no! The sand! What am I gonna do?
He tries to stop the sand coming out with his snout.
Ijime's gonna kill you.
Sand goes up Yuto's nose and into his eyes. He starts spitting and sputtering.
It's in my eyes!
Himari puts a hoof to her forehead.
It's in my nose too! I hate sand!
Quit fooling around. We gotta go if we're gonna get back before curfew.
Right.
They start walking again. Himari puts her arm around Yuuto to guide him forward. He's having trouble seeing. He still carries the bag of sand. Exterior, farther into the frozen wastes. The wind is picking up, and our heroes are having trouble seeing the stars.
Oh no, I can't see the stars because of the snow. Does anyone see Polaris?
No.
Maybe... oh, no, that was just a piece of snow.
Is that it?
He's pointing at the ground. He blinks, as if trying to see more clearly.
No, doofus, that's the ground.
Oh.
He peers closer.
Oh.
Maki is looking around.
Wait, is that the cave?
She points. There is a shadowy outline in the distance. It looks like it could be the ice cave. Okay, so if that's the cave, we just need to go, that way? She points.
Right.
We better make sure it's the cave. I'll check it out.
Yuuto starts walking in the wrong direction, away from the cave. Himari floats over and guides him back to the group. This way, silly. Interior ice cave. The inside of the ice cave is calm compared to the raging wind outside. Our heroes enter and all puff out exhausted breaths.
Whew, it's getting so windy out there.
I guess it's because it's so flat and the wind really builds up. Yuuto still can't see. He blinks and looks all over.
I wish some of that wind would get this blasted sand out of my eyes.
It's wrong to steal, Yuuto. Maybe this is just your punishment.
Punishment from who, Maki? Santa?
It's possible.
You're so naive, Maki. Santa may know who's naughty or nice, if what they say is even true, but he doesn't make things mystically happen like sand going in somebody's eyes.
Look, I know you never really believed in Christmas, which is crazy. So maybe it's easy for you to believe that Santa is up to something, but I'm telling you, it's all... Oh, wait. I'm going to redo this. The read on this line. Look, I know you never really believed in Christmas, which is crazy. So maybe it's easy for you to believe that Santa is up to something, but I'm telling you, it's all just some misunderstanding. Santa is good. Christmas is good. Everything is fine.
Keep telling yourself that.
Guys, the wind is dying down. We should go. Himari is looking out the door. The wind is indeed dying down.
Right.
Exterior frozen wastes. Our heroes walk single file through the snow, Himari floating behind Yuuto, guiding him.
Wait!
He stops walking. The rest run right into him from behind.
Oh, hey, a little warning next time?
I gave a warning. I said wait.
Well, say it louder then.
Right. But look! There's the cabin.
So it is true. There's an Outcast student out here?
It looks like it.
Where?
He's looking in the totally wrong direction. Ugh, come on. They all start moving again. Interior cabin. There is a knock at the door. Pause. Another knock. A mysterious shadow approaches the door and waits. Pause. Another knock.
Who is it?
Maki's voice is muffled by the door.
What?
Maki speaks more loudly.
Are you the student that was outcast from Reindeer Academy?
Outcast Nokomoto flings open the door. Exterior cabin. The door flings open suddenly. A burst of wind. The light from inside the cabin is nearly blinding to our students in the cold, their eyes used to the dimly lit night. The students huddle away from the door in shock and fear. Yuuto looks around.
What was that? What's going on?
Shh. Outcast Nokomono stands there looking down at them. They cut a pathetic picture, all huddled together, terrified. Outcast Nokomono's gaze softens.
I didn't mean to frighten you. Here, come in from the cold.
He motions for them to come in. Maki, Haruto, and Himari enter. Yuuto walks forward and smacks into the door frame.
I'm alright.
He enters through the door, rubbing his nose. Interior cabin. Outcast Nokomono closes the door behind himself and appraises our heroes.
2 questions. How did you know I was here? And why did you seek me out?
We heard a rumor at the academy of a cast-out student.
Ha! That's the story they tell, is it?
They all nod.
I wasn't exiled. No. I escaped. I escaped before they could revert me.
Maki, Haruto, and Himari's eyes go wide. Yuuto turns his head toward Outcast Nomono, a grave look on his face.
Reverted? No, but that's just a myth.
That's just something they use to scare fawns who misbehave, Haruto nods.
It's not a myth.
Everyone turns toward him.
Yuuto? What do you mean?
It's real. That's why I was raised by Carol and Bubbles. My real parents were...
Himari floats over. It's okay, Yuuto. You don't have to say it.
Yuuto, I never knew.
So it's real then?
Oh, it's real. And it's the most horrible thing you can imagine.
Himari is comforting Yuuto. He is crying, but it's hard to tell if that's from the sand or the past.
And they were going to do it to you too? Why?
I knew too much. I saw something I shouldn't have.
What did you see?
Wait!
He looks toward the door, still blinking and blind.
Wait, what is it?
I think someone's coming!
Damn!
He moves toward the window by the front door and peeks past the curtain, Outcast Nokomono's point of view. A tall, shadowy figure approaches.
Blast! He's right.
Yuuto, how did you hear that?
Yuuto turns blindly toward the sound of her voice.
What?
Outcast Nokomono rushes over and starts pushing them toward the fireplace.
Quickly, you must hide out back.
But there's no door.
There is a hidden door here.
He pushes a panel back and it opens to the outside.
In case of emergencies, and it makes it easier to bring in firewood. Go, go!
They issue out into the cold.
No matter what you hear, do not come to my aid. You fawns can't get mixed up in all this.
They are all out. Outcast Nokomono begins shutting the panel, but just before it is closed, he leans in.
If something should happen to me, remember, the ornaments do not all see the same tree.
What? What is that?
There's a knock at the door. Outcast Nokomono closes the panel. Exterior, cabin, rear. Our heroes are huddled up against the back of the cabin. They look very cold. Haruto turns around toward the wall and tries to peer through a crack in the wood.
Can you see anything?
Yeah, I can see through this crack.
What is it?
Maki and Himari join Haruto by the crack and look in. Yuuto crosses his arms in frustration. POV through the crack. Outcast Nokomono has opened the door, and outside stands an elf. A very, very tall elf. Nearly as tall as a reindeer.
Well. If it isn't the famous Nokomono, you got sloppy, old friend.
What are you talking about, Bixly, the tall elf?
Bixly the tall elf enters and looks around, very disapprovingly.
My, Nokomono. living in very modest accommodations. It's no wonder you couldn't help but pay the school a little visit.
I haven't set foot near the academy!
Don't lie to me, no kimono. You reindeer are lousy liars.
He slides a wooden chair with arms slowly across the floor into the middle of the room. He takes his time doing this, keeping his eyes locked on Outcast no kimonos. Finally, the chair is in the center of the cabin.
Here, take a seat.
I'm fine.
Take a seat.
Outcast no kimono does. The second Outcast no kimono sits down. Bixly, the tall elf, waves his hands, and somehow the wood of the chair starts to grow and sprout vine-like tendrils, emerge from the wood, and encircle Outcast no kimono's ankles, wrists, and neck. Reverse on eyes looking through the crack. Maki, Himari, and Haruto's eyes go wide.
We need to help him.
We're no match for him. We can't.
POV through crack. Outcast no kimono struggles against his restraints.
It's no use struggling. There is no escape.
You fiend! Santa has you wrapped around his little finger! You don't even know the kind of monster he is!
Don't I?
He leans in very close to Outcast no kimono's face.
I'm the only monster you need to worry about anymore, no kimono. Now kindly watch what you say, or I'll be forced to discipline you.
Outcast no kimono averts his eyes. Bixly, the tall elf, smiles slowly.
As I was saying, I've suspected for a long time you have been making supply runs to the school. Curious things missing from storage rooms here and there. But I never caught you in the act. Until today. You messed up, no kimono. You should have checked your bags more closely, because you left a lovely little trail of sand straight back here.
Exit POV. Maki, Haruto, and Himari look at Yuuto, who gets a horrified look on his face. They look back through the crack. POV through crack. Outcast no kimono thinks quickly. Bixly, the tall elf, is slowly pacing around the room.
All right, fine. You're right. I took some things. Some sand. But that's it. I'm no trouble to anyone out here. Just leave me alone, you tall bastard!
Bixly, the tall elf, turns sharply back toward Outcast no kimono, a wicked smile on his face. He extends a hand, and the wood around Outcast no kimono's right wrist tightens and tightens and tightens. Outcast no kimono screams.
Yeah!
Bixly, the tall elf, smiles. Outcast no kimono's screams intensify. The sound of wood groaning and creaking grows louder. A snap. Outcast no kimono's right hoof slams to the floor with a bloody squish and rolls toward the crack through which our heroes look. Exit POV. All our heroes shrink away from the crack and look at each other in terror. Even Yuuto seems to have put things together from the sounds.
Oh, Santa!
I think I'm gonna be sick!
Me too.
He starts to throw up but stops himself by sticking his snout in the snow. Bixly, the tall elf, starts laughing. We hear him through the wall. His laugh is slow and calm. Wicked.
Stop your cry.
How dare you! There's no honor in this! Fighting someone tied to a damn chair with elf magic?
Himari and Haruto look back through the crack. POV through crack. Bixly, the tall elf, stops his pacing and turns slowly to face Outcast no kimono.
You know, you're right.
He moves his hand, and the wood returns to normal very quickly. Outcast no kimono slouches down and holds the bloody stump of his missing hoof against his other hoof. He glares up at Bixly, the tall elf.
I demand a fair fight.
Bixly, the tall elf, walks toward the door and opens it.
Oh, we'll fight. Get up. We're going into the woods.
Outcast no kimono gets a defeated look on his face, but he stands. He briefly looks around.
At least, let me get my favorite scarf to stop the bleeding.
Bixly, the tall elf, laughs but says nothing. Outcast no kimono walks over to the crack and leans to pick up his scarf with his mouth. He is very close to the crack now. He looks right at the crack.
Remember the ornaments.
He picks up the scarf and using his mouth and good hoof, ties off his stump the best he can. He walks out the door, and Bixly, the tall elf, looks around the room, pausing briefly on the crack before exiting without closing the door. Exit POV. Our heroes turn from the wall and huddle together. They are getting cold.
What do we do?
We have to help him.
How? They're going into the woods, and Bixly, the tall elf, has wood powers.
Can't just leave him.
I think we have to.
It's my fault. I led him here
Don't start thinking like that. It was an accident. It's not your fault. Maki and Haruto look at each other. Himari turns and looks at them like, back me up, guys.
If it's anyone's fault, it's mine. I was the one who insisted we come out here for answers.
It doesn't matter if it's anyone's fault. All we can do now is wait until Bixly the tall elf is back and then hoof it back as fast as we possibly can before anyone notices we're gone.
It's getting colder and colder.
We need to have our hot chocolate before we freeze to death.
Exterior cabin, later. It is later at night. The moon is shining, but thick clouds are creeping in to cover it. Our heroes are huddled together, shivering, sipping hot chocolate. Himari shares hers with Yuuto.
Do you think it's been long enough? Do you think they're gone?
I think so.
I have to know.
What?
I have to know what happened to him. If he's dead, and it's my fault, I have to know. I'm going to the woods.
Yuuto! You can't even see! Besides, I'm sure he's fine.
I'm going.
He starts to stand.
No. Look, I'll go, okay? I'll go and I'll tell you what I saw.
It's my fault. I should be the one.
Maki's right. You can't even see.
I'll go.
What?
I'll go. She looks down at her floating hooves. I don't leave any tracks.
Now listen.
I can do it, Haruto. Just let me go, and I'll report back.
Are you sure?
But Himari is already floating away toward the woods. Exterior, woods, night. The clouds are covering the moon. It is very dark and hard to see. Himari floats between trees, looking carefully at the ground, but also all around herself. She speaks to herself to keep from being frightened. Okay, Himari, it's okay. Just look for any signs of a fight, and make sure no one sees you. She floats to the edge of a clearing. The trees here are strangely shaped, as though they all grew out toward the center of the clearing. She looks around. Seems like the coast is clear. She floats out into the clearing. The snow beneath her looks dark. What is this? The snow looks dark here. The clouds move from in front of the moon, and the whole clearing is lit up bright by its white light. Himari is in the center of a giant, bloody mess. Strange tendrils of wood all reach out from the trees and stick into the ground at the center of the bloody area. There are chunks of meat and fur everywhere. It's brutal. Himari's eyes go wide and begin to fill with tears. What? Oh my. Exterior cabin rear. Maki, Haruto, and Yuuto are still huddled together. Their hot chocolate has run out. Himari floats slowly toward them. She looks distant. The others stand and approach her.
What is it? What'd you see?
Himari looks up at them. They are all looking at her nervously, expectantly. Pause. Himari swallows. Her face looks a little less grim. Nothing. He must have let him go.
Really?
Really. Yuuto collapses in relief, tears forming in his eyes. Maki and Haruto look at Himari. Himari nods reassuringly as if to tell them what she said is true. Yuuto looks up at Himari, his eyes finally clear of sand because of his tears.
Thank you, Himari.
You're welcome, Yuuto. See? You had nothing to worry about. Yuuto nods and sniffs. He wipes his snout with his arm. Come on, guys. Let's head back. She floats back toward the academy. Credits.